All right, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. So do us a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications, and of course, upvote the video itself and participate in the comments down below. I'm here with Tom Vanderford for his weekly segment on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, doing great, man.
Yeah, you know, I think we should just get into it. We were sitting here talking about it and just almost reminiscing of what late signing day it used to be called National Signing Day. It just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't mean as much. December 18th or whatever that date is become more of the actual signing day, and late signing day is just an afterthought. There's a couple of names, Chimdi Ono and Jonathan Davis, that we're paying attention to, but realistically, it doesn't mean much, does it?
No, not at all. It's sad, like we were saying, you wax nostalgic for the first Wednesday in February. You know, I can remember being so excited one Wednesday, getting up early in the morning, driving to Oxford. This was, and you were there because this was Orgeron's first recruiting class, and we were all up in the south end zone club seats, and they were bringing up videos of the people and this and that and the other, and they were like, "Oh, this late thing, we've got this 4-star kicker," and But anyway, it was just that's one that sticks in my mind.
Well,
But
Joshua Sheen, you just
it
dropped a
used to
Joshua
be a
Sheen
big
there.
deal. Yeah, exactly. It used to be this huge deal where you would the people would gather, pay so much money, and at some venue, whether it be there, the Inn at Ole Miss, wherever they did it. And now it's like you said, it's just an afterthought.
Well,
And
if you think
at
about
least
it,
with us,
the Ole Miss Spirit and Chuck Rounsaville, it got started as basically a hotline to where you could call a 1-800 number or a 1-900 number and pay a certain amount of money per minute to get recruiting information. That's how it started.
yeah,
National Signing Day was everything to all of these services around. It's the reason all these things popped up. And now it's just it's transfer portal, it's early signing day, and it just kind of just lulls. And I say all of that to say this. Greg Sankey a couple of weeks ago talked about how they need to do something about early signing day to free up December. And everybody immediately went to, oh, the early signing day is going away. It's like, no, they want to free up work in December. So the high school recruiting through February, that would still be happening. The work would not be freed up. What will probably happen is before their senior season, kids are going to be given the opportunity to sign. I think that's the direction they're going to go. I think we're looking at a signing day in August and not just going back to the old National Signing Day thing.
which will be neat. And this is just my perspective. If a kid is the preseason number one quarterback at his position before his senior year in high school, and he signs with Alabama or one of the big blue bloods, what's to keep him from opting out of his senior year of high school football? Because if you get hurt, so it adds more. It just adds more weirdness to the whole thing. I guess because I'm in my mid to late 50s, and all of this is such a huge change. The older we get, the more we resist change. And this is such a huge change from what it was 5 years ago. Now, I like it, but it's still hard to get used to. My brain's turning right now. The little hamster on the treadmill, my brain's turning right now, going, "Oh God, I hope Pete Golding gets us a couple of more defensive fits in the summer when the portal opens again." Uh, it's just weird how it's all changed. That didn't used to happen. Even if you got some kind of transfer, if they weren't a grad transfer, they weren't going to play for a year. Things have just changed so much. Uh, Big money, man. Big money.
Yeah, you just look at it with the transfer portal, the way it sits. High school recruiting has been diminished. People want high
Oh,
school
yeah.
recruiting because what we talked about earlier, and treating it like it's 2008. But the reality of it is, high school recruiting is not what it was. If you treat it like what it was, you're going to be disappointed when after a year of you developing a 3-star and that 3-star goes to somewhere else and it becomes wasted effort. Um, I am the same way.
Exactly.
I'm resistant to change, but I'm the type of person that make the best out of how it is. When Davidson Igbenusson, like the rumor is he's going to Tennessee, and Tysheem Johnson is going to Oregon, those are two players I'm just not going to concern myself about because they automatically basically disqualified themselves from the equation. And that is, how is it? That's always one. How can we maximize what we have? If they're not here, they're not a part of it. If a kid doesn't sign with Ole
Exactly.
Miss, they're not a part of it. But that's just the way I think.
Well, and getting back to the high school kid thing, you're right. I read something the other day, and I tend to agree with it. Actually, if you're a 4 or a 5-star high school kid, you're still going to be signed. But if you're that low 3-star kid, uh, where you used to be signed and developed, you're going to have to go as a PWO or preferred walk on, or you're going to have to go the JUCO route. Or go to a smaller school and hope that you can shine and somebody at a larger school picks you up. So the whole equation for those high school kids has changed dramatically. People that would have been signed in the 5 years ago at Ole Miss and State won't be signed. They'll be either PWOs or they'll go to a smaller school or they'll go JUCO. Things have changed so much for the high school kid
Yeah,
because
and
you
I
want a
am.
known commodity.
Yeah,
You want a
and
known commodity. If you've got to fix your defense, if you're going from a 3-2-6 to a 3-3-5, or even to a 4-2-5, you've got things you have to do, and you can't take a chance on a 3-star kid trying to develop him from Callaway High School when you can get a guy like the kid we got from NC State that's proven, on the line, or a Jean Baptiste. Uh, you just can't.
well, the thing about it is because, this is not an insult to any smaller school. I'm not doing that. That's not what I mean by this. But it is a reality of what is going on right now. Right now in college football, there is a minor league system that is being developed between the FCS and the lower level G5s and to the upper level G5s and then to the Power 5 level, even so much to Big Ten and SEC. I mean, there is a caste system that is developing in college football. And those low 3-stars that used to find homes at Mississippi State and Ole Miss and sometimes Southern Miss, now are Southern Miss is their upper option. South Alabama, Troy, Louisiana Monroe. Or if they're really on the cusp and they're on the borderline of that, it's Southern or Jackson State or Southern or an Alcorn. Those become options for them. Southern or a Samford. So that is the new way that college football is. And some people aren't going to be able to get their eyes around what's going on. They're not going to be able to understand it for whatever reason. But it's not that they're like, Ole Miss is only signing 12 people on their early signing day. Well, that's because they didn't want to fill their roster with these low-level 3-stars that they used to would have signed. They can get those guys, but they can get them later. They can figure out which one actually does something. And if they're good, turn into good players, all of a sudden Ole Miss goes down and gets the guy from Southern Miss, from Louisiana Monroe, from Louisiana Tech, wherever they sign and develop. Those kids aren't gone forever. They're just not going to be signed out of high school.
The receiver that we got from La Tech.
Hmm.
He wasn't widely recruited, but he blew up,
Hmm.
and he's a stud. And you go down there and you snatch him up, and other people are doing it as well. It's just different. But I'm thankful that our head coach saw this coming, and I like what he's doing. I know a lot of people that are saying you can't build a program through the portal, you can't do this, you can't do that. But a lot of the kids he gets last year and this year are 2-year and 3-year guys. You know,
Yeah.
or he's getting the red shirt freshman or whatever the case is. I mean, Aisheem Young had 3 years left. Ivy had 3 years left. Dart 3 years. So Trigg
Trig.
4 years. So he's supplementing his roster. He's looking at it and go, okay, I got this sophomore, and he hasn't progressed like I thought I would. So he's going somewhere else, and I'm bringing in this sophomore that went wherever and progressed. It's almost like the NFL. You're constantly trying to improve your roster.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's like Kansas State under Bill Snyder in like 2000 with Michael Bishop and all that. And everybody was talking how you can't build a program off of JUCOs. You can't build a program off of JUCOs. And it's the same story that they broke out again for the transfer portal. The reality is nobody knows if you can build a program off the transfer portal because this has never been
Exactly.
done. That's like people that say
Exactly.
these type players are not going to be available in the late transfer window. How do you know? How have you done this? How do we know who is going to be in the late window? This is the first one. Who is going to be in that window? And they don't know. The reality of it is, and I will say this, is the media, whenever it was National Signing Day, you built to a Super Bowl on February 1st, first Wednesday of the month. We talked about, wax poetic about how nice it was. But now there's players that can happen. They have to be turned on all the time. So they need to do whatever they can to get it back to a smaller thing. They don't have the memory. They don't have they're like a Commodore 64 from 1981 trying to cover this. They do not have the space to do it. There's too many players. You have high school recruiting, JUCO recruiting, transfer portal, all of this going on is too much for them. So, of course, they're going to fight back. Of course, they're going to want to try and put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's not going to happen. But, I mean, that is the reason there's so much pushback on this, is honestly because the people that are assigned to cover this is too much work for them.
Well, it is. I think
Mm-hmm.
I read, and this may be wrong, but I think I read 1,800 kids that entered the portal last year, and only 900 of them found new spots. So it's digging through all that, and you mentioned something about the summer portal, and I'm going to mention this. We've got uh, basically sans our defensive line coach, an entire new defensive staff. Those guys were somewhere else. Those guys recruited other people. Those guys coached other people. And after the spring, there may be some people that say, you know what? I think I want to go play for Goldie. Or you know what? I think I might want to go play for the quarterback coach or whatever. I mean, the same thing that Tysheem Johnson did, the same thing that Igbinosun did. Uh, they weren't happy after the coach that they liked wasn't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to happen, but we have a chance for that to happen for us, and we're not that far away. I think we need, and you and I have talked about this before. I think we need a jack, a guy that a big linebacker that can put his hand down and that can be a defensive end type, that can be some kind of hybrid guy. And there are guys like that out there, and I still think that we might need a little bit more help at linebacker as well, but that's just me. And,
Yeah.
and I'm talking depth pieces. I think we've got some really good linebackers to start. I really do. I think Perkins starts right away. I think if we're a 4-2-5, he'll play. In my opinion, he'll play
Tony
the
Connor.
the Connor role, the Tony
Mm-hmm.
Connor role. And we've got Montgomery. He's a big, fast, quick linebacker. We've got Jean Baptiste. So when I talk about how I'd like just a little bit more defense, it's filler pieces, and it wouldn't kill me if they went out and found a way to get a true center.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I am thrilled about Priest Corn. I'm thrilled about our wideouts, running back. We will have two of the best running backs in SEC again this year.
Yeah.
We did last year, and if you see Riscano, I watched him in that Polynesian Bowl.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
dude.
he can catch, he can run, he can do everything. So
Mm.
and I think I think he kind of reminds me of number 4.
Yeah, he's not
So
he's
and
not
that's
not
not
quite
bad.
as big, but yeah, absolutely.
No, no, yeah, he's not quite as big, uh, but it's we got some pieces on the offensive line. We got the big all Pac-12 tackle from Washington. That's huge.
Mm.
Uh, the JUCO kid we got from California. You look at his film. He's quick.
Nice.
He's
Mm-hmm.
strong. So that those are depth pieces. The kid from UAB. Hey, he was second team all Conference USA, but he's a guard. So I mean, depth pieces. You got to have that.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway,
people are forgetting about Jordan Watkins in the slot.
oh yeah, yeah,
You
I do
know,
that from
uh,
time to time as well. Honestly.
yeah, I'm bad about that, but
Mm.
he's we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But we when Jalen Robinson left and went to TCU, some people got upset, and you and I both were like, well, he really didn't do anything for us last year. He was
Yeah, it's
either
like, what did he
hurt
do?
or nothing. So I mean, more power to him. I hope he does great at TCU.
Even
But
Davison,
yeah,
if he goes to Tennessee, it's like, well, what is the production you're replacing? What is something that's so insurmountable? It's all about potential and what he could be. But if
right,
you look
and
at
he
the
had
actual
some good
protection,
flashes, but
yeah,
yeah, I think he
but you
only
can
had like
replace
what
that.
4 passes defended.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we replace him with two good corners that have good statistics, better than his,
mm-hmm.
albeit in lower conferences.
Mm-hmm.
But what 6'2" and 6'3" corners? That's pretty
And
cool. No,
6'4",
actually,
and six
Saunders
four.
is 6'4".
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just it looks like it's taking, just like you said with the physics problem. We're getting
mm-hmm.
bigger on defense and we're getting
Yes,
faster. And that in the SEC you have to be big and fast on defense. So that's my thing. I don't think the only problem that I have with our offense from last year is that we didn't use the middle enough, but like you said, the snap goofed things up. Uh, we didn't have a vertical threat at tight end or slot for the most part. I think all those problems are going to be fixed.
me too.
Like I think you said the other day, Wade may end up being the slot.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think
and
that's where they're trending.
yeah. So I mean, I'm really looking forward. I don't think people understand how much Priestcorn is going to help us.
Yeah,
I really don't. He's what we need. He's a prototypical. I can get in there and block, and I can slip past the linebacker, tight end. You know, he's what they wanted to get with the kid from Savannah, Tennessee. That's back is hurting, and he's never got to play. So Hunter Wolf, I think
yeah.
was his name.
Hudson Wolf.
Hudson Wolf. There you go.
Anyway, Tom, this will be the last time for a bit that you come up on the show. Everybody's going to be praying for you and nothing but good thoughts for you, man. And
I appreciate that.
yeah, you're a big part of what we do here, and I'm just so thankful, and I hope everything goes all right for you, man.
Man, I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. Make sure and check out our brand new podcast, Locked On College Basketball. It's got everything you need to know about college basketball in one place. Plus, you get to hear from big name experts, insiders, coaches, and players. Locked On College Basketball. It's available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Tom, again, good luck to you. If you need anything, let me know. Heck, half
Yes,
the
sir.
listeners in our audience, if you need anything, let them know. They'd probably help you out as well. But man, all the prayers to you, and I hope everything goes well, man. But good luck.
Man, I do too. And everybody out there, thanks for all your prayers. And hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.